Good afternoon, good evening, whichever geography you are in. It's an absolute honor to welcome you to this special session brought to you by EduTV, where we delve into topics that shape the future of education. Today, we are privileged to have with us an esteemed guest, Mr. Mukesh Salet, Principal, Delhi Public School, Varanasi, UP, India. A visionary leader in education, Mr. Selet has been instrumental in nurturing young minds and guiding students to achieve their full potential. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. The pleasure is mutual.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we have Mr. Mahe, the famous Mr. Chetan Mahe. He's the head North India Ayaksha Healthcare Private Limited, Mumbai. He is doing a
Namaste,
lot of
sir.
work with schools. Welcome, Mr. Mahe.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir.
Okay.
The theme of our discussion is smooth transition from schools to universities is one of great importance in today's fast-paced world. As the academic journey evolves, the shift from a structured school environment to the dynamic landscape of universities can often be challenging for students. Together, we will explore how educators, schools, and parents can ensure that this transition becomes a seamless and empowering experiences for a student. Let's begin this enriching conversation with insight from Mr. Mukesh Selet, whose vast experience in the field will undoubtedly offer valuable perspective on the subject. I request our host, Mr. Chetan Mahe, to take the conversation further. Over to you, Mr. Mahe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pranavji. Welcome, sir, to this esteemed platform, EduTV. So we always work for betterment and request all esteemed guests for their insights and how they contribute in education. So this is one of another privilege taken by EduTV to have you as a as a guest to our this esteemed platform. So starting this conversation, I request you to just share what steps schools take to better prepare students for the academic and social challenges they might face at university. Because as you know, transition is always very critical for any child to any level, whether it's a class to class or class to university. So I request you to please just share your insights, sir.
Yeah, I think this is a big transition from school to college. What we have done, or at least at DPS, what most schools keep also doing, is you kind of do a career counseling, which is a very basic, thing that we need to get them to do. Maybe from class 9 onwards, we kind of expose them to a lot of new age careers. Especially at DPS Varanasi, we are very progressive. And, we don't mind even exposing the children to a radio jockey.
Yeah.
So we had somebody from the FM Radio Mirchi here. We have several people. So at DPS, this is what we do. More than just a career counselor talking to them, we give them a real life experience with professionals in the field. So what we kind of do, get the kids to kind of, ask them what kind of careers they're looking at and what kind of people they would like to interact with. So we call this a human library. And we have these people come in, professionals, businessmen, doctors, lawyers, and the entire gamut of professions, including the new ones. For instance, a chef. So we had a 5-star chef from the Taj coming over and talking to our children on how that. So they get a real life experience of interacting with a professional where they get to know the positives and the not so positives also of those careers, so they can kind of decide on what they want to do. The other thing that we try and give our children an orientation with the new education policy, since we don't have education or the streams into xylos anymore. I mean, it never was, but except that it was there in the mindset of schools and the mindset of people. But now, since that is opened up, so, a child who is good at maths and also wants to pursue music, we tell them that these are the possibilities available. Apart from that, we give them the list of examinations and we handhold them through all the competitive examinations that we have in case they need preparation for that, expose them to institutions that are, and of course, the coaching, we try and avoid that, but then that's the menace that we all have to deal with.
Correct, sir. So absolutely, this is really a great initiative and innovative initiatives you are taking at your school level, and definitely NEP also given a path to all of us that the skills which are essential for any children to grow and be a great professional. As some time back, Mr. Mahindra also said that most of the people, those who came to us for interview, they are not very much ready for our institutions. So definitely, at the college level, they must be taking steps, but definitely on a school level as well, we should prepare our children towards their successful career.
Yeah, so
No,
then, in that case, let me add this.
please, sir.
Our pedagogical methods and, the strategies that the teachers use are quite related to collaboration, creative thinking, critical thinking. So these methods are integrated into our school system from the, very early ages onwards. And of course, it becomes a little lesser when it goes to the higher classes. But by then, they have learned collaboration, they've learned group work, they have this experiential. Then through the ATL lab that we have, we create these critical thinking and collaborative work. What a flagship program that we did about 2 years ago is we started an entrepreneur program within the school. So a class 7 was divided into groups of 10. One batch and the school would give them a seed fund of 20,000 rupees. We took them through an idea of how to set up your own, business or an enterprise. The children chose the products they either wanted to make or market. They made their own website. So the entire 10 members, had different roles to play, like a board of governors or in fact in a company. And that has been very, very successful. And the third year, we are into it. So they marketed their products at, annual days that we had, or when PTMs were there, they would have their products. They would sell it online. The school would help them and do that, order certain products for a Teacher's Day gift or a Diwali gift that the school would want to give it away to their staff. And very gradually, this has grown into a very beautiful entrepreneurial program. And the best part is the annual presentation at the end of the year. Once they finish it, it's like an annual general board meeting. We have all the parents there, and each group would bring in a 10-minute presentation where they would say what they did, what difficulties they faced, if they failed, why they failed, and what learning they had from failures. So if a company has made profit, fine, that is all right. But we focus more on the companies that perhaps have made a loss. And it's not that every company has, made a profit. Some have broken even. Some have even gone into losses. And those are the ones we kind of feature more in the annual presentation because we want everyone to learn from the mistakes. We believe that there is a great power in the failure that we go through, if at all we call it a failure.
That's absolutely amazing idea, and I appreciate your efforts and your initiative which you have taken to invest as well. Because most of the schools I visited and I've been to, they give the ideas, but there is no certain kind of any investment or any encouragement is given to the children. So this is really a great idea that you invested as well, whether it's a
We
profitable
have
or
a
not.
very progressive management. I mean, that's the reason. And a young management,
Right, sir.
These two
Right.
boys who have taken over from the old order, They're very young, full of new ideas and willing to try and take the risk. That's the best thing about this progressive
So,
management
as
approach.
per your experience, sir, how can parents support their children during the crucial phase of transition, especially in terms of emotional readiness?
Emotional readiness is something that doesn't come very easily, either to this generation or to the parents also, because there is such a gap between communication of the parent and the child. It's very difficult for parents to understand the emotions of the children and vice versa. Because see, parents also have a certain concern. They're very aspirational for their children, and therefore, the child perhaps is not working as per their schedule. There is a little. So we do a lot of conversations with parents, and the best thing is, again, a practice that we call the student-led conference. So we do have your regular traditional PTMs at the end of an examination, but we do have two student-led conferences, one in each term, where the child sits with his portfolio after a period of 3 months and goes into what he has done, what he has achieved, where he wants to go, and conducts this conference where he is or she is leading it, the parent on one side and the class teacher or the teachers on the other side. And he talks about, what he has learned, what he needs to do, where he needs to go. We have a goal setting form, which is also a part of the portfolio. So these things help us prepare children to communicate between parents and the child and the parents. The teacher and the parent is kind of a passive observer, asking only prompting questions or goading the children when she wants to have a little more information or wants the child to reflect. And then at the end of it, the teacher says that what kind of help would you want your parent to give you, and ask the parent what kind of things that you want your child to do. And that's a kind of a mutual dialogue. So this is a practice that has happened. It has happened with a little difficulty. I'm not, today, of course, it's a very nice practice. It sounds very good. But initially, when we wanted to do that, there were a lot of hiccups. We failed a little. But today, I think we are really successful in this particular aspect in bridging the gap between the parent and the child.
Absolutely amazing idea, sir. I'm really delightful that today I'm interacting with you and getting the insight from your practices, which you are already doing in your esteemed institution. DPS Varanasi is always in top of the schools from the Banaras region. So, coming to the next point, sir, what role do you career counseling and skill building programs play in ensuring students are well equipped for the demands of higher education and beyond? I would like to have your more insights because in first question you definitely answered that, but I would like to have your more opinions and points for this.
Career counseling is become a very important and imperative thing now for the children. You see, earlier in our generation or in Pranav's generation, we had just very limited opportunities. I'll narrate a little incident. A young boy went to America, Indian went to America and sat down, and his aunt said, would you like tea or coffee? So he said, okay, I'd like tea. She comes back and says, okay, green tea, tea with sugar, masala tea, and the flavor. And it goes on till the child is so thirsty and says, can I have water at least? And the mother and that auntie comes back and says, would you like clear water, tap water, or sparkling water? That's the sad part of the multitude of choices that children have. And so they do get confused. So a career counseling definitely is like like a light on your dark path. It might not lead you exactly to the goal, but it does light up the path for you to choose from. So that's very important. We have a very brilliant counselor from Banaras itself, Anupam Raghuvanshi, very good at his work, very, very agile. He understands all the careers that are new age careers and gives us, exposure to them. Also, he handholds them for university admissions. So that's how we kind of work on career counseling there. Initially, we did try a couple of other providers, We were online, providers, but somehow we felt that I think after COVID, when we got back to the offline and system, I think a one-to-one interaction with a career counselor, and more than the career counselor, as I said, people with different professions, they come and they interact, because we have a whole lot of parents who are very good professionals also. So they come down and talk to the children. That's a part of our Parent Connect program as well, which is a very structured program that we have. So in the senior classes, it is, of course, the careers that they talk about. So career counseling is definitely very important. I'm not too sure about the validation, of the aptitude tests that are available all over. I mean, I am yet to see something very, very, successful as far as that is concerned. But we do. If the children want to take an aptitude test, then the counselor does give them from the plethora of the tests that we have. We have a career counselor and the school behavioral counselor as well in the school. So we have that part of that.
So when we are talking about all the health, mental health, emotional health, so there is a very important part which is a physical health as well. As Government of India policy, school must have a first aid solutions available inside school. But most of the schools have taken it granted, and they just do the formality for the affiliations, and everything rests on on the lucks of children. If there is anything
That's a
happening
little
to the children,
danger. I think, maybe such schools will learn the hard way. But
so
at DPS Varanasi, we have a very well-equipped kind of infirmary or a
so would
sick bay, as we call it.
love to know the solutions you have inside school and the process and policies you are following for first aid to be given to the children, sir.
Yeah. So we have all the SOPs, of course, drafted, not just for this, but even informing the parent in case something has gone wrong. We have a well-equipped infirmary with 2 nurses and a hospital very close by. There is a link. So in case, an emergency, then we do have that. All the basic requirements that are mandated for a school infirmary, either by CBSE or by they're all present also. There is a process for where in case, a child is sick, then the child goes to the infirmary. And depending on the requirement, whether the child's parent has to be informed or not, if it's a minor, we do that. So physical health, for as far as that is there. Apart from that, I think physical health, we get our children to play well. So a half an hour to 40-minute period per day mandated as through the HPC also, we provide it to them in terms of block periods. So alternatively, the children would be playing, if not daily, so that they get enough time. We have number of sports, large number of grounds. We have about 8 acres, so we have all those facilities. And more than that, I think mindfulness plays a big role. So every period starts with a 3-second mindfulness bell. We call them there's yoga, there's meditation, there's a lot of concentration work happening. And, they're very age specific. So maybe at the lower classes, a little fun-oriented mindfulness. So maybe they're mindfully eating or they're mindfully sipping when they're sipping water. Even in between the classrooms, we do the periods, we do a little 5-second, 6-second, 10-second mindfulness kind of, everyone said, please pick out your bottle and let's sip mindfully, very quietly. So that also is a part of it. We give them a mindfulness calendar for the child to follow at home with the parent. This especially all started, during the COVID, and we kind of practice there. So physical, mental health go hand in hand, and that's how we practice on this.
It's amazing talking to you, sir, and amazing insights from you and the processes, the protocols you follow in your esteemed institution. So I'm really grateful, and it's a learning insight from you. And I'm sure it will be helpful for all other esteemed peers, schools, and the institutions and the leaders across India, whomsoever is listening to us. And it's really privileged to have you on this show, and it's privilege to me as well to host you and to interact with you for this insightful session. So I'm heartily thankful to you, sir, for this insight, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Chetan, and thank you, Pranav, for having me here.
Thank you, Mr. Salet, for your enlightening insights and valuable recommendations. Your wisdom has shed light on practical strategies that can truly bridge the gap between school education and university life. A particular highlights of today's session was the wonderful example you shared about the Indian student who was feeling thirsty when presented with an overwhelming number of choices. The student became confused. A powerful analogy for how students can feel when transition from schools to universities happen. This perfectly illustrates the need for guidance and clarity in decision making during such critical phases. As we conclude today's session, I would like to also congratulate Mr. Anupam, whose example was cited by Mr. Salet. He's doing a wonderful job in that part of the country. It is evident that a smooth transition is not just about academic preparedness, but also about fostering adaptability, resilience, and love of lifelong learning. Schools, parents, and educators must collaborate to create a supportive ecosystem that empowers students to navigate this critical phase with confidence. At EduTV, we remain committed to bringing such meaningful conversations for the forefront, driving innovation and excellence in education. A heartfelt thank you to Mr. Mukesh Shelat and to all our viewers, and definitely Mr. Chetan Mahe, whom on a very short notice I requested to help us. Thank you, Chetan. Let us continue to inspire and guide the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead, sir. Mukesh, sir, I met
Thank you,
you
sir.
roughly 22 years back in Dehradun. So
Yes,
it has been more than that now. Thank you so much. I came with Dr. Raha.
wonderful
It was a
meeting you
pleasure
again,
meeting. I will
Pranav.
specially come to Banaras and meet you
Most
sometime.
welcome.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Most
sir.
welcome.
Thank you,
Bye.
Chetan. Bye. And
Bye-bye.
thanks all the viewers. And please remember to subscribe our channel Edu TV. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.